I don't care if you date someone. He speaks to your figure on your wedding night. How can a man ever say that to his wife? The woman in her see through lingerie asked. The man sighed, frustrated, running his fingers through his silky hair. Don't you feel anything for me? I mean, even a physical attraction, that you don't mind if I go with someone else? See, I didn't want to marry you in the first place. I have a lot of things in my list, and marrying and giving my precious time to a woman is my least priority. Your face turned calm and blank. It was both your wedding night, and you were expecting a lot from this marriage. A satisfactory married life, a husband who is your other half and best friend, a family you are proud of. You put away your shy nature and wore even a transparent piece of cloth with tiny spaghetti straps for your arranged husband. But was Jungkook ruining it all for you? Don't turn back from your words later. You want him. I won't. That is my word. I just needed this marriage to get to this position, honestly, which I am given. I don't have any interest in this relationship. You chuckled, mocking his mentality. A lot of people build their business empires, but at the end of their lives, they did not care how much profit they made or how many branches of office did they open, but only about the time they spent with family. Don't regret this later. He scoffed. Maybe the people you know about are fools, but I'm not. Keep your philosophies aside and let me work, Ryan. A car rolled down the parking of Jungkook's mansion. He was in the kitchen drinking water. His life wasn't any great. It felt most of the time that he was alone in the house. You were nowhere to be seen. You'd either be out, probably with someone, or in the room, rarely coming out of it. You didn't talk to him, nor did he ask. A male sound came from outside along with your laughs. Jungkook moved the curtains a little to look outside. A black car parked with a man dressed in a button up shirt and pants hugged your body. You were elegantly dressed in a navy blue knee length dress, smiling at this man. Who was this guy? He got back to the living room when you entered the house with a huge smile plastered on your face. You got startled and looked around to see Jungkook leaning on the wooden door frame of the dining room. Your smile faded as you saw him, for you have been avoiding him during these months. He's my boyfriend. You simply answered, walking back to your room. He stood there calculating what you said. His wife was dating someone, just like he asked her to. Was he hurt? Or maybe his pride was. As someone who should be just his position, is now hanging out with other men. But he asked for it. Jungkook was loosening his tie while driving back home. He was at the red light waiting for the lights to turn green. It was almost 1 a.m. in the morning, and all he wanted to do was fall on his bed right after he reached home. But his eyes started to get tired as he parked to the sides of the road just to rub his eyes, which were sore by staring at the screen and files throughout the day. His eyes soon landed on a couple on the other side of the street. There was a girl leaning on the car, and the guy brought some street food to her. Jungkook stared intently at the two, with the girl closely resembling you. The girl kept trying to take the food out of the guy's hand while he playfully kept pulling the thing back. Jungkook chuckled watching them. Finally, the guy put the food in his mouth, sticking a part out, as the girl almost kissed him, grabbing the food out of his mouth. Jungkook's breath hitched, watching the movie like romantic scene playing in front of him. The woman pulled back, laughing. Jungkook's eyebrows crashed as he saw the face of the woman in the street light. Hwayan? So all this time he was enjoying watching his own wife being romantic with someone else? What a shame. He remembered the words he said to her on her wedding day like it has been engraved in his brain. He slowly drove back to their home. The door unlocked about half an hour later. You came in silently, slipping your shoes off of your feet. You walked into the dimly lit room only to encounter Jungkook in the living room sipping a glass of wine. You decided to ignore him and walk to your room, but his voice stopped you. Is this the time you come back? You stayed silent, turning to look back at him, uninterested. Answer me, John Ryan. Oh, now you remember that I'm your wife. Listen, Jungkook, you're not in a position to tell me when to go and when to come back. Of course I am in the position. I'm your husband. He growled as you calmly looked at his angry face. Of course you are. You simply said with a tiny smile on your face and walked back to your room. The next day was a holiday. Jungkook was in the house and you were in your room. Soon, there was someone at the door ringing the bell. He stood up, opening the door to see a guy, the same guy he saw you with. Who are you? He asked, getting agitated by your boyfriend showing up at his door in the morning. Me? He smirked. I'm Taeyang, Kim Taeyang, your wife's future husband. What? Jungkook almost shouted in shock. By this time, you were downstairs. Hey Tae, you hugged the man. Why is he here, Ryan? Jungkook questioned. Well, there's something we need to settle, Jungkook. You all sat on the sofa, Jungkook on one side, and you and Taeyang together. You forwarded a brown file in front of Jungkook. His pupils dilated, opening the file. A divorce paper. We should have done this way earlier. But I kept hoping that one day you will change. But then I realized that was a wasted of time to wait for you to change when you have already made it clear to me that you do not have any interest to start a family with me. Plus, I met Taeyang. He stared at the paper in silence, as most of the words you said were not registering in his brain. I want to move on with life and build a family instead of wasting my time. So please sign the paper so that I can have a life. You forwarded a pen towards his hand as he slowly grabbed them. His heart was telling him to stop, while his brain kept saying that there was no use now. It was too late. The ink left the pen, staining the white sheets. His remarkable, intricate signature decorated the document as you thanked him for setting you free from his cage of marriage. The two, you and Taeyang, walked out victoriously holding each other's arms. Before you left the house, you looked back at the place where you spent these 4 months as someone's wife, your supposed home. The attachment had lost its value. Taeyang gently tightened his hold on your hand, giving you an assuring smile as you both drove away. Wayan was right back then. I have everything: house, car, multiple branches of my company. I can maybe get some other girls. But what is the point? I couldn't keep my wife with me, the one I married. Jungkook chuckled as he sat on the sofa where he was, rotating the pen between his fingers while his eyes were stuck on the shiny wedding ring you had left on the center table in front of him.